Yes. Okay, now it's working. Just switch off the camera so won't distract you from the contents. All right. So our topic today is how does the integration of SAP DMC with SAP EWM works. That's the agenda today. We're going to have a brief concircle introduction. Then we go to the efficient logistics in SAP EWM. Then right away, we will switch to digital factory with fully cloud-based in manufacturing execution system. Then we also going to give you some insights to SAP DMC for integrated logistics, and cherry on the top, the demo of integrated production and logistics. And of course, Q&A in the end. To ourselves, I'm Gera. I'm responsible for marketing at Concircle. Then we have our EWM expert, Andras Salai, our senior IT consultant, and our SAP DMC expert, Clemens, our talented IT consultant. So, to those who probably is not familiar yet with Concircle and what we do, we are a consulting company for digitalization solutions, especially in the areas of supply chain management, enterprise solutions, operations, and manufacturing. Concircle was founded 12 years ago with the core vision of support industry vertical IT integration. Due to our focus, we had the honor of supporting over 120 mainly industrial clients in over 350 successful projects. We are dedicated to the European market and therefore focused on the DACH and Central and Eastern Europe. We believe that sustainable solutions create internationally recognized best practice processes that increase convenience and efficiency and those secure jobs. We have quarters that are located in Vienna, also with subsidiaries in Slovakia, in Bratislava, in Bingen am Rhein in Germany, and in Winterthur in Switzerland. More information you're going to get on the website. So if you have any questions, please contact us. Also, if you want to have any presentations, we are also open for non-binding calls and presentations. Okay, so without further ado, I will give now my word to Andras, and we will jump into EWM topic.
Yes, thank you. Hello, also from my side. I have the honor to present you the EWM part from our slides in our presentation. As I know that the most of our attendees now is more interested in the manufacturing part, so I'll keep myself short and have just 10 minutes planned for a slide, so I will go through quite quickly, but I wanted to give you a rough overview how EWM is integrated in the production processes. I will show you the landscape, how EWM is working with the systems. We'll talk a little bit about the production process, so within a rough overview. And the focus goes on at my slides for the staging process and the various options what SAP offers here. And at the end, I talk a little bit about the outlook, especially how ME and DMC integration with further years will look in on SAP side, or what is planned for the further integration. So let's get started with the system landscape. As maybe some of you know that EWM can be used as an embedded EWM in the S4 system. In that case, the communication between the systems is directly through an interface. But EWM can also work as a standalone, a decentralized system. In that case, then EWM, of course, communicates directly with ERP or S4 system. And of course, S4 communicates separately with SAP ME and DMC systems. Nevertheless, the EWM and ME DMC systems have also an interface where they can communicate and share, especially stock information between each other. Going to the production process overview, as probably most of you know, the simple processes of SAP, that the warehouse is supplying the production from a general storage or many storage places with a so-called staging process, and this ends with at the production supply area from where the production can consume the parts. And after producing finished or semi-finished goods, in most of the cases, the warehouse gets back these finished or semi-finished parts where we can, according to the process, either store them back at the warehouse or within an outbound process, send them away to a client. But getting to more focused, especially as mentioned on the staging process, we have a couple of variants or options how the staging process can be triggered. At the beginning, we had ERP or S4 triggered staging processes that's called then staging for production with deliveries. But also for these processes are quite good examples, the Kanban processes or the JIT calls. Later on, there are processes also where the staging process can be called out of the EWM. That's the so-called advanced production supply, where EWM using a so-called PMR, production material request. But we come to this part later on our slide. And also crate part supply is also a good example for EWM trigger staging. And last but not least, newly we have also staging options where we can start the staging or trigger the staging out of SAP ME, MII, or DMC. Beginning with the ERP triggered staging processes, the implementation was quite simple. So although we need to differentiate also in these cases if the storage location for production is EWM managed or not. But the difference in those two processes is just in the created document, what we're using in EWM. Nevertheless, the process flow, as you can see, is after creating and releasing an order and triggering the staging, we create an outbound delivery, which is replicated to EWM. And in EWM, we're using this document then for the warehouse task creation. This is the object which the warehouse clerk is using for his work within the warehouse and the staging process. And after completing his task or so-called confirming the warehouse task, we gave the information back with a material document to ERP. So the stock information is accurate in all of the systems. Later on, SAP introduced the so-called advanced production supply. This is the so-called EWM triggered staging. This has the slight difference that we don't create an outbound delivery or a posting change document as in the earlier stages, but EWM creates with the material staging and so-called PMR, production material request. This is then used for various staging options in EWM. This gives also a little bit more flexibility for EWM for the staging. EWM then offers here all the so-called single order staging, which is used or can be used if one will stage to a concrete manufacturing order. That means the reference to the manufacturing order to that part is referenced to the whole staging process, and only that particular manufacturing order can consume those parts. EWM offers then also cross-order staging. This is then used when one will stage parts or components for many production orders or manufacturing orders. And of course, we still have the option for manual staging. The process ends then when, of course, the staging and the confirming and all the other processes are very similar to the previous one. The staging ends with closing or technically completing the manufacturing order. After that, the PMR is also get closed or the status completed, and one cannot stage for that object anymore. To continue to the MES triggered staging or production supply. This was built upon the earlier showed PMR document in EWM. So we have a quite similar process in here. The slight difference is that the manufacturing order is then replicated to the MES system. In EWM, it's still the same. So we create a PMR, but MES triggers the staging to either releasing the order or when the SFC started. MES then triggers a single order staging request, and this is the base what creates in EWM then the warehouse task. Of course, as in the earlier processes, when EWM finishes his staging task, we send all the information back to, in this case, to MES system, so that the system gets actual stock status, and we have the information in all systems accurate. Coming to the DMC part, as you can see, there are quite similarities because that was the beginning. So DMC is based on the integration scenario with SAP EWM. We have the same process at the beginning, and therefore all the processes were quite similar. Nevertheless, SAP, therefore I would skip this one a little bit because at 2021 SAP made some changes in this process, and that could be a little bit more interesting, and this is also what we're going to talk today about. Therefore, jumping to the next slide is called the newer features. What's the difference to the earlier ME scenario in this one? That one can see that starting with ERP and triggering the staging in EWM stays the same. So we create a manufacturing production material request, but we also replicating the staging method, the various staging methods back to DMC and ME. This is good, therefore, that DMC can use these methods in the staging methods. My colleague will tell you a little bit more about his slides about. But DMC has more ability, are enabled to use the various staging methods out of EWM. The staging request then creates in EWM a warehouse request. This is then the base for the warehouse task, and confirming the warehouse task is in that part of EWM similar to the other systems. So confirming the warehouse task will send back the notification to MES. so that all systems had the same stock information. The good news here for the DMC and ME information at this stage is that DMC has accurate information and can read the stock out of EWM. So they have a better synchronization between both systems. And of course, let's take a little bit of a display what we can await for the future. So we see that we take quite a steps in the integration, starting with a more enhanced staging notification, which we have the better stock synchronization through the process. So we have a better overview about the stock during the whole production process. Going to the next phases, which SAP makes the WIG process integration. So if in the production process we produce a component or a semi-finished part which is needed on the next production line, so we can through MES or DMC stage or receive these products or components. And for the future, it is planned also a so-called unified package builder, which should make for the worker a little bit easier to use other packaging materials in case he will need for, let's say, a custom-based packaging at the end of the production instead of the standard packaging material. So it was quite quick and quite big steps about the EWM information. I just wanted to give you a rough overview how the staging options are. We can use in EWM and MES various combinations here, but I will give over to my colleague so he can show you the DMC parts.
All right. Thanks, Andras, for the good and brief overview of EWM. I will now take over and start with a brief introduction of the SAP Digital Manufacturing Cloud. So the Digital Manufacturing Cloud, or SAP DMC, is a fully cloud-based manufacturing execution system that focuses on the execution, the data analysis, the control, and the integration of manufacturing processes. Further, it supports production managers, employees in their daily work directly on the shop floor, and therefore the DMC connects the shop floor with the business systems to optimize resources and execution. So, for example, it can be tightly integrated with SAP S/4HANA, where production orders are planned, inventory is staged, and subsequent supply chain processes are triggered and processed. And our experience from various customers and partner projects in the area of manufacturing has made it clear that a successful manufacturing execution system must be integrated into the existing system landscape in the best possible way. And for this reason, an integration of SAP DMC with the EWM is an important step to achieve an efficient handling and smooth interaction of the production processes with the logistics processes in the warehouse. So the SAP DMC can not only be integrated with S/4HANA or EWM, but also with different other SAP business systems like the S/4HANA Cloud, the manufacturing execution, the manufacturing integration and intelligence, and also for machine connectivity, it can be integrated with SAP plant connectivity. For the technical integration with different systems, there are two components needed. So the SAP Cloud Platform integration supports the end-to-end process integration through exchange of messages. So it helps you to connect cloud and on-premise applications with other SAP or also non-SAP cloud and on-premise applications. And this service has the capabilities to process messages in real time and spanning different companies, organizations, or departments within one organization. And also through the CPI, one can benefit from pre-packed integration content to jumpstart integration projects and to set up productive scenarios with only minimum effort. And the other component is the Cloud Connector. The Cloud Connector serves as a link between the SAP Cloud applications and the on-premise systems and combines an easy setup with a clear configuration of the systems that are exposed to the technology platform of the SAP. So you can use the Cloud Connector to connect on-premise databases or business intelligence tools to the SAP HANA databases in the cloud. The communication between the DMC and the S/4HANA, in our case, and also the embedded EWM system, is enabled through a few configurations. So we have in the ERP system the HTTP connections established and the data replication framework is set up, and all components have been connected to the CPI, and also the digital manufacturing cloud is also connected to the cloud platform integration. Furthermore, the Cloud Connector has to be installed and also connected to the S/4H system and to the CPI platform, and the DMC has to be configured for outbound integration. And all these configurations enables the communication with iDocs and with business application programming interfaces, so-called BAPIs, between the DMC and the S/4H. So as the communication is set up, it is possible now to exchange master and transactional data. So as you can see on this slide here, the inbound data of the S/4H to the DMC contains master data such as materials, routings, work centers, etc., as well as transactional data like production orders. And other way around, the DMC sends outbound data such as time, quantity confirmation, and also inspection results, for example. For the EWM integration, the inbound data includes single order staging confirmation as transactional data. And for example, the outbound data from the DMC is also transactional data as single order staging requests, consumptions of components, and material and goods receipts are transferred. Now we talked about the integration of the SAP DMC into the landscape, but what does it offer? What does the Digital Manufacturing Cloud offer? So the Digital Manufacturing Cloud has integrated planning, execution, and reporting functionalities, which can be divided into SAP REO, SAP DMC I, and SAP DMC E. The SAP DMC includes a component for detailed scheduling, planning of production orders at work center level, which is called Digital Manufacturing Cloud Resource Orchestration. And there it is possible to create detailed scheduling plans for production orders, to manually or auto-dispatch orders and track the production execution. And REO helps to match supply and demand and reacts quickly and effectively to unexpected events such as the failure of machines or employees. Key functionalities of REO are the scheduling of personnel and production orders on the shop floor. Therefore, it is possible to plan employee availability, to create staff-related shift plans, and to automatically schedule operations. Monitoring of the entire manufacturing process to optimize production is possible through dispatching of events on the shop floor and visualization on Gantt charts. There also the availabilities and problems are visualized. Short-term changes are incorporated into the production plan, and the affected employees are informed about their changes. And finally, shift supervisors can monitor the production progress as well as the condition of the machines at any time. The SAP Digital Manufacturing Cloud for Insights is a centralized, data-driven and cloud-based performance management solution for manufacturing industries, which provides a real-time end-to-end visibility and manufacturing efficiency in a simple and scalable solution. And it offers consistent, clearly defined, and therefore comparable key performance indicators within and also across plants, as well as global visibility across different system boundaries for easier insights. And by providing a centralized solution in the cloud to analyze manufacturing performance, data from multiple disparate manufacturing applications can be collected and harmonized across plants. And the system offers therefore standard production KPIs and the flexibility to add or create new KPIs. In addition to that, algorithms can be used for root cause analysis of quality defects, pattern recognition, and suggestions for continuous improvement of manufacturing processes. And all of these functionalities can be seen in insight dashboards, which also can be individually created, as can be seen in these slides here. Last but not least, the SAP Digital Manufacturing Cloud for Execution is designed to have 100% digital production with the aim of orchestrating the store floor, increasing quality, ensuring traceability, and managing production in the most efficient way, while supporting various integration scenarios for both the discrete and also the process industries. It is responsible for executing and monitoring the production processes and therefore provides an intuitive user interface and modern process-oriented features such as we talked about this resource order dispatch or the graphic design of interlinked production processes. Here you can see a quick overview of the most important features in the DMC, where I just want to quickly go through. We talked already about the connection to other business systems like ERP, EWM, and also plant connectivity. Also already mentioned are the integrated, precise, detailed planning and controlling through resource orchestration, and dispatching and the machine orchestration. Very important for the end users is the production operator dashboard and the corresponding pod designer, where the user interface can be created. In the pod, various actions can be executed, like gathering data, with data collections, showing work instruction of different format, and ensuring quality through performing inspections and logging non-conformances. For shift leaders and supervisors, especially the functionalities like labor management as well as shift and message dashboards are very interesting, and related to this, the management of skills, which can be assigned to workers to get permissions for individually defined actions. And last but not least, also the performance monitoring plays a big role in the DMC. All right, so the big topic we want to talk about today is the integration of the digital manufacturing cloud with the extended warehouse management. So first of all, the key benefits. You integrate the DMC with the EWM to achieve planned and efficient processing of all logistics processes in your warehouse. And in contrast to the inventory management, so the MM module and the S4H, EWM provides the option of mapping your entire warehouse complex in detail in the system, down to the storage bin level. And not only does this give you an overview of the total quantity of a product in the warehouse, but you can also always see exactly where a specific product is at any time in your warehouse complex. And you can use this advanced production integration to stage products that are needed by production and post the consumption of products, so the goods issue process can be completed. So when production is done, you can pack finished goods in containers and then trigger the transfer of goods received back to the ERP. Anders talked already about this. To achieve all of this, the EWM is needed, which is in our case embedded in the SAP S4HANA. And for the integration scenarios in the SAP DMC, you need version 1909 or higher. And the connection between the embedded EWM and the DMC, the cloud connector, as well as the cloud integration platform is needed. So I already mentioned configuration needed in the S4H system at the beginning, which enables then the communication with IDOCs and BAPIs. And also in the EWM, there are different things to do, like the storage location must be configured, that they are synchronized with the DMC, and also different business add-ins has to be activated. And also in the cloud connector, the access control must be configured correctly so that the EWM can connect and can communicate with the DMC. And last but not least, the logical system and system destination should also be set up in the DMC, and you have to manually add the EWM managed storage locations. They must be identified, and collaborative links has to be activated to enable the outbound integrations or outbound messages from the DMC to the EWM. So SAP provides different integration scenarios with the EWM. With the 2021 version of S4H, these are the staging request, the material consumption, and the goods received. So I will start with the staging request. The staging request integration scenario is carried out, can be carried out by the Managed Staging app and Managed Staging app 2.0, and sends a staging request to EWM. So the MES-driven staging is implemented in both apps, where both single order staging and cross-order staging requests are supported. It is also possible to trigger a single order staging request to EWM when releasing an order in the DMC. And I will also show this then later in the system demo. As prerequisites for this, the material staging has to be executed, as Andras said before, in the EWM, and the production material request has to be created. Also, stock has to be available in EWM, and the order has to be distributed and released in the DMC. It is also possible to send single order staging requests or cross order staging requests to EWM with a public API provided by SAP. This API is only valid for staging of components at order level, so requesting components for the whole order or for a particular operation is possible. So let's go on to the material consumption, or also the called goods issue. So depending on the industry of orders you are executing, you can consume materials and trigger consumption reversal in various ways. So we differentiate here between the work center pot, which is mainly for the discrete industry, and the order pot, mainly for the process industry. And it is possible to consume components that are staged from EWM and send therefore the component consumption. And this is only supported from the work center pot for the production orders, and is therefore recommended to use when executing orders for the discrete industry. So the consumption can be carried out when assembling or completing a component or an SFC. So in the work center pod, this is possible also to disassemble components, and this gets also reported to the EWM as a removal. Therefore, a goods issue reversal is posted for the products, and the production order is updated in the S4HANA. Again, this is only supported for the production orders, and therefore recommended to orders of the discrete industry. For the process industry and process orders, the material consumption to EWM can be triggered from the order pod. So this is possible for both process orders and production orders. We will see it later, and can therefore be executed for process and discrete industries. Also, this material consumption or goods issue can be cancelled through the order pod, and the goods issue cancellation is then posted, and EWM sends a goods movement document to the S4HANA to update the order there. Last but not least, we have now the goods receipt integration scenario. So it's possible to post goods receipts in the EWM in various ways, depending again on the industry or the order which is executed. So it is possible to post the goods receipt message to EWM upon packing unit completion. So when products move from production to the warehouse, EWM receives them by handling unit, creates an inbound delivery, and posts the goods received for each handling unit. As this takes place in the work center pod, it's only supported for the production orders and therefore for all orders of the discrete industry. And to create goods receipt for EWM managed materials for orders in the process industry, again, the order pod is used. And there's a third option. So to use the goods receipt in custom developments, there is again a public API. And with this API endpoint, it's possible to post goods receipts for both process and production orders. And same as the goods issue cancellation, it's possible to post also goods receipt cancellation in the order pod or through a public API. So to demonstrate all these EWM integration scenarios and other functionalities of the DMC, we as concircle set up the assembly station of the future as a showcase called Next Generation Intelligent Assembly Pod. And here the assembly process of a model car is simulated with the employee being supported by various digital technologies. And a strong focus was placed on the areas of UI custom extensions like part identifications and also the logistics integration. And to give you a brief overview over the showcase now, just shortly, you can see here a picture of all the components. The goal of the worker is to assemble a model car. You can see it here called Concar. And as an infrastructure, we have an all-in-one PC with touchscreen where the SAP DMC pod is opened. And the showcase was equipped with different features and pods. So we have multimodal interaction via touchscreen and voice commands and component recognition, which we elaborated in the previous webinar. And we also integrated here a pack plugin to pack the finished parts on handling units or packing units, and also created an own packing UI. And it is also possible to book goods issues through the assembly of the components and track this in the pod. And we also created an order pod to book goods receipts as well as goods issues. Now, we have here a video with our in-system demo. Just for information, I will start the video. It will be started for you all, and you can go down then here to full screen to see the full video and in full screen. So we started now our Concar showcase. We will start with the order creation in the S/4HANA system. Here with transaction 001, our finished material will be the Concar. Our production plant for all our showcases is 1220, and our order type is ZDMC, so we have it also delivered to the DMC system. So we will assemble one Concar, and also our scheduling will be the current date. And as you will see in 1 second in the goods receipt tab, our storage location will be the 3D00, which is an EWM managed storage location. Now we can jump into the operations. We have for this order 5 different operations, and the first operation, we will look a little bit more into this. This is the assembly of motor and underframe. And in the components, we will see here the first 2 components are the underframe and the motor of our Concar, and they have storage locations maintained with 1D00, which are again EWM managed storage locations. We will now release this order and execute the material staging to create the production material request, and also save then the order here. So the next step is then that we look at the production material request in the EWM. In the warehouse monitor, we can see here when we filter for the specific date that a production material request was created for the concar. Exactly, we have it here. For the concar created by me for this specific order. And so we have the prerequisites to do the EWM staging from the DMC. So we jump over to the DMC system. Let's have a look into the integration message dashboard. If the order was sent to the DMC system, you can see the order download. This is the LOIPRO which was sent, so the IDOC which was sent to the DMC. So here's the request payload, and as you can see in the response payload, the shop order was created in the DMC and the order completed successfully. So that means the order was created in the DMC, and we can jump over to the manage orders application in the DMC, where we can then release it. So the first entry is our concar order, which we sent from the ERP. It is releasable, so it can be released by us now. We can also have a look into the operations, and in the BOM, where we can see the storage location of our underframe and motor are 1D00 again, as in the ERP. And there are no SFCs right now, because now we have to release this order, and while releasing it, the SFC is then created, and also the warehouse tasks are the staging request to the EWM is triggered, and the warehouse tasks are created in the EWM. We will look at this now. So the staging request, we can see it then in the integration message dashboard that this message was created. We have it here at the top, and we can see here that the request for these for the underframe and also for the motor were created for warehouse 12.2 and for our two components here. Also, we can see here the reservation item number and then the response payload where the exact warehouse tasks number is written, and also the production supply area where we will have this components then. Then jump back to the EWM system to look at the warehouse tasks. We can search them for the specific time here again, and have a look on two warehouse tasks, each one for one component. So we will have one for the underframe and one warehouse task for the motor. As we can see here, created by the RFC DMC interface, and one for concar motor and one for concar underframe. So these two warehouse tasks will be confirmed and will be executed, and then we will have the components then on our new storage location in the DMC also. So we get now a message to the DMC, the inventory download, where we can see then the movement of these concar underframe and concar motor components. We have here then, as you can see here, the two inventories created. So we have two inventory IDs which are now created, and we can look on these two inventory IDs on the Manage Floor Stack application. So we can go now in the Manage Floor Stacks, search for this specific time rate, and we see here the underframe as well as the motor with the inventory IDs. And also you can see here the storage location for these two inventories is to the 00, which is EWM managed. So let's jump to the work center pod here. And this is our work center pod where we assemble our concar. So we took now the SFC in the first operation and started this operation now and changed it to productive. And as you can see here with the green fields, and our component list consists of the underframe, the motor, and the concar screw short. You can see it also here in this component list. And here we have this component plugin where you can assemble then this underframe, the motor, and the screw short. We implemented is that you have to enter external ID. This is not required, but you can do this, and therefore you can add here components, you can remove components here, and also trigger the goods issue or goods issue removal from here. You can also search for components, for example, concar motor, and then assemble it here. So this is one option. The other option is the material consumption through the order pod. So we have here an order pod where we can choose our order. You can see here the first operation is productive, and here you have the tab with the material consumption. And in the tab of material consumption, it is then possible to post a goods issue from a storage location where stock is available. You can also see the available stock in the different storage locations exactly, and then it can be confirmed, and a goods issue will be sent to the S4H and to the EWM system. So here in the integration message dashboard, you can see goods production order goods issue was posted for this concar screw short and from this specific storage location. So this would be the material consumption for this. And now, last but not least, we have the goods receipt. So first of all, the packing. So we have here a work center pod configured for packing. Here are different packing units. They are all closed. To create the packing unit, you need packaging material. So I took here a cardboard, and it's also possible to enter a carrier ID and a packing unit ID, which can be generated. So now the packing unit is created. It's open now. You can go then into this packing unit and add different components. I searched here for concar and put one concar on the pallet or on this cardboard, and through selecting one and then clicking on add. And then you have this SFC on this packing unit on the right side, you can see it. And then through clicking on pack on the bottom, you can close this packing unit, and then you have this SFC on this packing unit. You can also see it here, it's now closed. You get a warning message that this is packed already. You can also unpack this packing unit, and all this is also possible directly in the pod. So we have here the packing list plugin to do this everything in the pod, which is a little bit small, but also possible if you want to do it from here. Also, last but not least, goods received from the order pod. And this is the last functionality I want to show you. You can also go into here, into the order, and create a goods received here. So you post here goods received through clicking on post, providing the quantity. You see the storage location 3D00 is already pre-filled. You can also put in a handling unit number, and I took here one piece, and then you can confirm it to the ERP, to the EWM, and also with a inventory ID. Okay, I think that's it. Small demonstration. I hope you could follow. I think we are open now for questions. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for your interest.
Thank you, Clemens, and thank you, Andras. Please ask your questions. We have 7 minutes now. You can put your questions in the chat. We will be glad to answer them. In case there are any complex questions or you want to have a extra presentation, here are the contacts in front of you. Please don't hesitate. As I've mentioned before, we are open for a non-binding presentation for you. Yes, okay, we have one question. Is packing unit visible as handling unit in EWM?
Yes, I think so.
Yes, it's definitely yes.
Thank you, Andras. Thank you, Clemens. In meantime, since yes, we have I have also some information for the next webinar. Maybe it would be also interesting for you. On the 13th of December, we have another webinar, which is about integrated order and staff planning and SAP DMC. Please don't miss this one out. We will be glad to see you again. And the registration will be open on Thursday. All right. Seems you had a very detailed presentation, guys, that we have no questions today. All right. Yes, and I will just repeat it just in case. I will send all the materials per email. And yeah, can receive everything in time. All right. Yes, I will now finish the stop the recording.